Hello and welcome back to the TMDSAS podcast. Here at the TMDSAS podcast, we share the tools, tips, and insight into the best practices for applying to the Texas public medical, dental, and veterinary schools. On this episode of the TMDSAS podcast, we'll be talking about the core competencies and how these relate to the school's mission, vision, and value statements, and how you can leverage the knowledge of these core competencies to make your application stand out. This is Enrique Hasso, the Coordinator of Research, Advising Services, and Digital Media at the TMDSAS office in Austin, Texas. We're really excited for today's topic, which is core competencies. Now, if you've listened to previous episodes of the podcast, you've heard many of the deans talking about core competencies and how they affect how an application comes through their office and is screened by the admissions committee. We thought we should take a closer look at these core competencies, where they came from, what they are, and then see how the schools have integrated them into their admissions process so that you as an applicant get some insight on how applications are processed and how these core competencies come into play in your application. So first off, where did these core competencies even come from? The AAMC developed a report on the behavioral and social science foundations for future physicians to address a 2009 report produced by the AAMC and the Howard Hughes Medical Institute report called The Scientific Foundations of Future Physicians. Now, this report recommended the definition of competencies related to biological, physical, genetic, molecular, and mathematic sciences, as well as the foundations of knowledge and reasoning. Now, the report also emphasized a companion, quote, need to assess the behavioral and social science foundations for future physicians. Now, for those of you who are kind of keeping count at home, in 2009, that actually predates the development of the new MCAT. Now, what happened afterwards is that the AAMC convened a team of physicians, scientists, educators, committee members from the AAMC HHMI committee, and the Medical College Admissions Test Review, or the MCAT review, to develop a report called the Behavioral and Social Science Foundations for Future Physicians. In this report, they addressed how medical schools would prepare students to meet certain competencies. But once they addressed all of the competencies that a student would learn while they were in school, they were still left with a group of core competencies. And so that's where they came from. Now, we also have dental and veterinary applicants out there who are not interested in medical competencies, but I do want to point out that the American Dental Education Association also developed a similar list of competencies in 2008, and these were defined as the, quote, complex behavior or ability essential for the general dentist to begin independent, unsupervised dental practice. And in veterinary medicine, there are also several core competencies, but these have been integrated with clinical competencies. And so the development of those is a little bit different. Now, for this podcast, we are going to focus on the defined medical school core competencies because they actually overlap really nicely with the desired competencies across not just medicine, but all of the health professions. And so the core competencies cover 4 areas, and there are 15 competencies. The 4 areas are interpersonal competencies, intrapersonal competencies, thinking and reasoning competencies, and science competencies. Now, looking at the interpersonal competencies, we have service education, which demonstrates a desire to help others and sensitivity to others' needs and feelings, demonstrates a desire to alleviate others' distress, and recognizes and acts on his or her responsibilities to society, locally, nationally, and globally. For social skills, these are applicants who demonstrate an awareness of others' needs, goals, feelings, and the ways that social and behavioral cues affect other people's interactions and behaviors. And they adjust these behaviors appropriately in response to these cues. They also treat others with respect. For cultural competence, applicants must demonstrate knowledge of socio-cultural factors that affect interactions and behaviors, show an appreciation and respect for multiple dimensions of diversity, recognize and act on the obligation to inform one's judgment, engage with diverse and competing perspectives as a resource for learning, citizenship, and work, and recognizing and appropriately addressing biases within themselves and others, and interacting effectively with people from diverse backgrounds. The competency of teamwork is defined by working collaboratively with others to achieve shared goals. They share information and knowledge with others and provide feedback, and put team goals ahead of individual goals. Finally, oral communication is how you effectively convey information to others using spoken words and sentences, listening carefully, and recognizing potential communication barriers and adjusting your approach or clarifying information as needed. And so once again, the interpersonal competencies are service orientation, social skills, cultural competence, teamwork, and oral communication. For intrapersonal competencies, we have an ethical responsibility to self and others, where you behave in an honest and ethical manner, cultivate a personal and academic integrity, adhere to ethical principles and follow rules and procedures, resist peer pressure to engage in unethical behavior, and encouraging others to behave in honest and ethical ways. The next competency is reliability and dependability, where you consistently fulfill obligations in a timely and satisfactory manner, and take responsibility for personal actions and performance. The third competency is resilience and adaptability, where you demonstrate tolerance of successful or changing environments or situations and adapt effectively to them. You are persistent even under difficult situations and recover from setbacks. And finally, a capacity for improvement shows that you set goals for continuous improvement and for learning new concepts and skills. You engage in reflective practice for improvement and solicit and respond appropriately to feedback. And so once again, the intrapersonal competencies are an ethical responsibility to self and others, a reliability and dependability, resilience and adaptability, and a capacity for improvement. The thinking and reasoning competencies include critical thinking, where you use logic and reasoning to identify strengths and weaknesses of alternative solutions, conclusions, and approaches to problems. Next, we have quantitative reasoning, where you apply quantitative reasoning and appropriate mathematics to describe or explain phenomena in the natural world. Scientific inquiry, where you apply knowledge of the scientific process to integrate and synthesize information, solve problems, and formulate research questions and hypotheses. And finally, written communication, where you effectively convey information to others using written words and sentences. And so the competencies for reasoning and thinking are critical thinking, quantitative reasoning, scientific inquiry, and written communication. And finally, the last area of science competencies includes living systems, where you apply knowledge and skill in the natural sciences to solve problems related to molecular and macro systems, including biomolecules, molecules, cells, and organs. And finally, in human behavior, where you apply knowledge of the self, others, and social systems to solve problems related to the psychological, sociocultural, and biological factors that influence health and well-being. And so, once again, the science competencies are living systems and human behavior. So if you've made it this far, you're probably asking yourself, what does this all mean? And to help illustrate that point, I wanted to share with you that the schools actually have to define mission statements and have them posted on their website in order to receive their accreditation. We, on the other side of that, often see these mission statements and value statements as fluff. But knowing where the core competencies are coming from the AAMC and all of these committees that have come together to address issues in the changing landscape of healthcare, we can actually see how these core competencies have found their way into the school's mission and vision statements and their core values on their websites. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. UT Southwestern lists their values of excellence, innovation, teamwork, and compassion. The Texas A&M University College of Medicine has a vision statement that reads, "Our vision is to develop the innovators and leaders in medicine and biomedical research who will transform American medicine in the 21st century." University of Texas Medical Branch at Galveston has the values of compassion, integrity, respect, diversity, and lifelong learning. The Texas Tech University Health Science Center School of Medicine has a vision statement that reads that they wish to be known for the excellence in teaching, patient care, and scientific contributions that enhance the healthcare of communities in the region. The McGovern Medical School lists several core values that they'd like to highlight, some of which include fostering a diverse and inclusive learning community, supporting the health and well-being of students, faculty, and staff, promote interpersonal collaboration, and providing a competency-based curriculum emphasizing integrity and professionalism. The Texas College of Osteopathic Medicine has the values of serving others first, integrity, respect, collaboration, and to be visionaries. The Long School of Medicine has a mission statement that lists out several points, including providing exemplary medical education and training to a diverse body of health career professionals at all levels while fostering a commitment to scholarship, leadership, and lifelong learning across the educational continuum, and building and sustaining a recognized leadership and advanced scholarship excellence across the biomedical and health-related research spectrum, and delivering exemplary and compassionate healthcare to enhance every patient's quality of life. The Dell Medical School Admissions Office actually lists out the personal attributes that they look for in their applicants, which include integrity and ethics, reliability and dependability, service orientation, social and interpersonal skills, teamwork, capacity for improvement, resilience and adaptability, cultural competence, and oral communication. The Texas Tech University Health Science Center Paulo Foster School of Medicine will promote wellness and relieve human suffering through excellence in healthcare, intellectual innovation, and service beyond borders. Where the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley School of Medicine will use innovative and competency-based medical education to train the next generation of physicians who are committed to improving the lives and well-being of their communities through innovative research and compassionate, patient-centered care. Moving on to the dental schools, the Texas A&M College of Dentistry aims to continue to be a leader in dental education by educating exemplary clinicians who deliver evidence-based care, fostering translational and clinical research to improve patient care and delivery, providing high-quality service to students, patients, faculty, staff, alumni, and the public, and increasing access to dental care through cultural competence, diversity, and community-based care. The University of Texas School of Dentistry at Houston aims to provide high-quality education, patient care, and research in oral health for Texas, the nation, and the world, and who will be leaders in healthcare, culturally aware, and sensitive to the oral health needs of patients. They also go on to state that the committees will utilize a holistic review model in the selection process in order to assemble a diverse student body and learning environment while observing all the best practices and admissions designated by the UT system. The University of Texas Health Science Center San Antonio School of Dentistry has a mission statement where they say, "We believe in service learning. Our students, residents, and clinicians serve patients through San Antonio and South Texas to give much-needed oral health services to many who would be unable to receive oral health care." And the Texas A&M College of Veterinary Medicine states that caring about animals and people, curing and preventing animal disease, creating new knowledge, new therapies, and new learning opportunities, and communicating with students, veterinarians, scientists, and the public is their mission. Now, in the coming episodes of the TMDSAS podcast, we'd like to explore the areas of the application in relation to these core competencies. As you've heard, a lot of these schools' missions, vision, and values statements include these core competencies, whether they be medical, dental, or veterinary schools. As you can see, many of the schools already integrate the direct language from the Core Competencies report in their mission, vision, and value statements. In the description of this episode, you'll find a link to some resources available on the AAMC website, including the core competencies themselves, what medical schools are looking for in the core competencies, where they explain each one of the competencies and what you should be showing in the application. There are also some real-life stories where the AAMC has broken down students' applications and assessing each section of their application in relationship to the core competencies. And we also have a link to some resources for the competencies available to general dentists and for veterinary students. And so in the coming episodes of the TMDSAS podcast, we'll be exploring the application in relation to these core competencies. We'll talk about your personal statement, your activities and how those should be listed, and how your letters of evaluation can actually play a part to support your overall application by highlighting the core competencies that you wish to bring to the admissions committee's attention. We'll talk to the deans, admissions officers, and advisors about how you should use your knowledge of these core competencies to build a stronger case for yourself and market yourself better. Keep an eye out for more support resources coming your way. We have video series on the TMDSAS processes and procedures. The TMDSAS application handbook for entry year 2019 will be coming out soon. And we're very excited about a new tool that's under development that can help you track the status of your application. Don't forget to join our online communities to receive early access to the podcasts and resources, ask questions, and receive information directly from TMDSAS, the professional schools, and advisors. On Facebook, the TMDSAS Hub is open to all applicants of the 2019 or any future application cycle. And the TMDSAS Non-Traditional Applicants group is open to all applicants who identify themselves as non-traditional and would like to connect with other applicants and the TMDSAS office. If you have any questions or comments about the podcast, if you have any topics, questions you'd like for us to forward to a dean, you can reach me at podcast@tmdsas.com. On behalf of TMDSAS, we're looking forward to continuing to expand our support of our participating institutions, our advisors, and our applicants. That's all we have to cover for today. We'll talk to you later.